Okay, hello everyone. This is John Bender. Thank you so much for joining me here. I'm excited to be able to present to you today. We're going to talk about an amazing technology that literally has the opportunity to transform the world. And I hate to be so dramatic about that, but I've been working with this technology for 25 years. And as we begin exiting out of the pandemic here that we've just gone through, had more people known about this technology, I believe it would have saved a tremendous amount of suffering across the world in people's lives, and of course the major losses that we had. And so with no further delay, let's get into this. And I'm just so glad you're here, that you're going to be one of the very first people to learn about this and be able to utilize this within your own family life and possibly within your business life as well. My name is John Bender. My background is in engineering. I've been in the engineering world for 25 years in the environmental sciences area. My specialty is advanced air and surface sanitization. I'm a graduate from North Carolina State University in the School of Engineering, and also recently a graduate from Harvard Business School. I've had an opportunity to, over the years, especially when I was a little bit younger, to write research directories on academic research and what we call defense initiatives. This is DARPA, which is the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. They have identified technologies that were strategic in the national defense here in the United States, and those areas were like biotech, biomedicine, environmental waste management, and semiconductor technologies. All that said, not to geek out on you there, but I do want to let you know that I'm very excited, and have to tell you, I believe we are at a shift in how we think about protecting our families and protecting our employees, protecting our customers and clients, a new standard of protection that really should have been done many, many years ago. You know, one of the things that I think sometimes is important is to look at things in context. And when we look at the pandemic we've just gone through and look at it compared to pandemics throughout history, we recognize that 830,000 lives lost obviously is a significant number, yet compared with some of the other things throughout history, it is really small in comparison. The truth of it is that we here at the time of this recording, we have the ability to deal with most everything you see here on the screen. And the challenge really comes down to whether or not we as a people want to adopt a standard to protect people, to make that standard be an expected standard of protection wherever you go. So everyone, everywhere that they work, live, or breathe gets that same standard of protection. It kind of reminds me of an earthquake. If you think about an earthquake, if you've ever been in an earthquake, you've seen tremendous devastation, to infrastructure like bridges and buildings collapsing, and such a loss of business and even life. And what do we do? What do we do after an earthquake? Well, you know, from an engineering perspective, we ask, well, what happened? How can we redesign and we rebuild this bridge so it doesn't happen again? How we put this building back up? How can we have new standards to make it earthquake resistant so it doesn't collapse and doesn't kill people? I mean, it's expected. That's an expected reality, to set a new standard of protection. Well, why would we not do the same thing with a pandemic that we've just come out of? I mean, literally, we were caught off guard. And had we thought about and asked the question, could we have standards to protect public safety, but not just in public buildings, but in our own homes, things might have been different. So I think really what the rest of this presentation is really about, a new standard of safety that proactively protects everyone, everywhere. Where we work, where we live, where we breathe, it doesn't matter. Everyone gets protection. And it's not just against the corona class virus, the SARS-CoV-2, which you see in the middle column at the bottom, but it's against a variety of different pathogens, or maybe in flu down to MRSA, down to hepatitis, to staph, to E. coli, to strep, things that we're all familiar with. And the challenge is that all of these viruses, there is a smarter active solution where we could take the fight to it if we had only known about it and been able to actually build that in as an expected standard. Especially when you think about something related to breathing. You know, we of course think about water. We can go a few days without that and maybe a few weeks without food, but literally we need air or we die. And we're breathing 2,000 to 3,000 gallons of this wherever we are. I happen to say that, wherever you are right now, if you're in your office, you're breathing the air in your office. If you're in a car, you're breathing the air in a car. If you're in your home, you're breathing the air in your home. You have to breathe wherever you are. The challenge is that you're breathing into your body whatever pathogen levels are in the air. You're taking that into your body. Let me give you a really kind of gross thing to think about it. But if you're in Starbucks and you go to a bathroom and you walk in and there's a really nasty smell, do you know that whatever created that smell, there's a little piece of that actually you just took into your lungs? Otherwise, you couldn't have smelled it. So essentially, you have to have some type of technology or something that is intercepting the pathogen, these nasty things, before you take it into your lungs, or your lungs are the air purifier. So is there technology out there today? And of course there is, and we're going to talk about what we can do about it to, again, build in this mindset that, this is unacceptable. We need to have a standard. I mean, think about it. If somebody, you saw a bridge in your city fall down due to an earthquake, and many people were killed in that, well, if they built the bridge back exactly the same, it didn't change a thing, you would probably be livid, because, I mean, it's like, what do you mean you didn't change it? You didn't learn anything from that? And yet it collapsed. Well, how do we make sure it doesn't happen again? Exactly. We have to make sure that we learn. And since most of us were caught off guard with this pandemic, we've got to learn from that and protect the people, the businesses, the things that are so much important to our daily lives. So let's talk a little bit about this new standard protection. And before we do, I want to talk to you about the company driving that, because it's important to understand that the company behind this is not something that just popped up during this COVID season. No, it's a company called ActivePure Technology. It's been around for 97 years, 130 international patents. Most of all its technology has been tested against FDA approved laboratories and various different pathogens that the studies have gone against. In fact, the FDA has cleared one of the ActivePure devices called the Aeris Medical Guardian as a Class 2 medical device. Over 70 different products, 70 different countries, world-renowned clientele, working with some of the most elite clients in the world. For example, the Cleveland Clinic is doing a $2.2 million nosocomial infectious study to be able to demonstrate in peer-reviewed papers that they've eliminated the pathogen transfer of infectious disease in a surgical suite. Doing what with this technology? Groups like Major League Baseball teams, 29 of the 30, using this to protect their players. We'll talk more about that here in a little bit later on. Something very interesting for many people is that this technology originated in NASA. The NASA space program did a study with University of Wisconsin in Madison. They were looking for ways to keep the inside of a space cabin clean and also accelerate plant growth. It did that, but there was a side effect of cleaning the air with this technology, and then also anything the air touched, whether it was a surface like a doorknob or any kind of tabletop or anything, also got sanitized. So again, the technology, we'll talk more about that here in a minute. A U.S. company based in Dallas, Texas. That's the glass building you see there in the bottom right-hand corner, excuse me, and also a 450,000 square foot manufacturing facility is our facility in Bristol, Virginia. So a U.S. company, and I'm very excited to be able to share with you the fact that this isn't just reserved for the most elite hospitals or the most elite government, that this unit that you see here, Vollara, is a business unit. It's one of our 5 business units. But Vollara, its primary objective is to bring the technology to ordinary people, to ordinary businesses, and to be able to get that out there so everyone, not just the elite, but everyone gets that standard of protection. Just real quickly, the company's origin story started with Electrolux back in 1924, became Aeris in 2000, was inducted to the Space Hall of Fame. We'll see that here in a moment. The new patents filed. By the way, the Space Hall of Fame, this is technology that was originated in space that was commercialized to serve mankind. It's one of 75 technologies in 30 years to be honored with this, working with the prestigious Cleveland Clinic. The technology also was what we call a biosafety level 3, level 4 lab, demonstrated that this technology destroyed COVID in the air in less than 3 minutes. And then, of course, the FDA clearing an ActivePure device called Aeris Medical Guardian as a Class 2 medical device here last year. So I wanted you to, again, understand this is the preeminent, this is the premier company in this air and surface sanitization space. So I'm going to share with you this solution here real quickly. I think you'll appreciate this. This is a quick little video. I do want to let you know this video is set up to really address more of the COVID, but now as we're starting to move out of the pandemic, I want you to understand that this deals with every form of pathogen, be it mold, be it viral, be it bacteria, be it fungal. So understand this, and I think you'll appreciate how this technology works.
Because of COVID-19, the air we breathe and the things we touch are no longer safe. Shared air and surfaces harbor risks due to COVID and other pathogens. But with ActivePure technology, air and surfaces can be purified and disinfected quickly and safely while you share and occupy spaces with others. ActivePure is a patented advanced active form of PCO technology. It works by creating and propelling safe and powerful disinfecting molecules into the air in a room, which quickly seek and destroy pathogens everywhere. ActivePure molecules work by piercing the shell of a virus or bacteria to destroy its living environment, thereby preventing it from replicating or doing harm. ActivePure technology is designed to use the law of gases to carry its safe disinfecting molecules into every nook and cranny in every shared space. The law of gases is the reason that the smell of microwaved popcorn immediately spreads through your entire home. These odorless and invisible ActivePure molecules fly through the air from our portable or installed ActivePure products, quickly and safely destroying pathogens in the air and on surfaces. ActivePure is very different from other technologies that take a passive approach and require that the pathogen be pulled into an inefficient filter, UV light, or plain PCO mechanism. ActivePure does not wait to see if by luck the pathogen is captured. It seeks and destroys them quickly, wherever they may be, in the air you breathe or on the surfaces you touch. ActivePure can deliver measurable and guaranteed results, giving you the peace of mind to know that you are providing the best protection for the people you care for. Available in over 70 products, both portable and installed, ActivePure technology is used in hospitals, state houses, and other shared facilities across the world. It is proven by science and validated by multiple third parties. ActivePure is the key technology in our FDA Class 2 medical device, the Aeris Medical Guardian. ActivePure is not too good to be true.
All right, well, I think you got a pretty good understanding of how it works, and I'm going to spend a few minutes with you. I want you just to kind of take away some big ideas here. First of all, this unit is very small. It's a portable unit. Imagine 2 shoeboxes pushed together that purifies up to 3,000 square feet with really no filters to buy, no replacements. The thing that's powerful about that is that it literally does not filter. So what it does is it creates a fountain of cleansing elements, these things called oxidizers, superoxides, hydroxyls, peroxides. And you're familiar with that if you've ever been outside after a thunderstorm. You notice how fresh and clean the air smells. Well, guess what? That is what you're smelling. That's the oxides, superoxides, hydroxyls, microperoxides. What we're doing there is we're actually just replacing the outdoor air. This is the kind of thing that you would find in the outdoor air. You're bringing it to the indoor. So indoor doesn't have it because you don't have sunshine. You don't have the photocatalytic process that you'd find outdoors. So all this machine really does is it takes the missing components that you find in outdoor air and it brings it indoor. Let me share with you how it works. It's kind of really neat with the technology. Imagine in an indoor environment, you're going to have air, your regular air, it's going to have small microscopic moisture. Now that's pulled into the back through these little straws. These straws are made out of a semiconductor called titanium dioxide. Now you have this UVC bulb. Imagine it's like a mini sunshine. It's the little sun in there that creates that photocatalytic response. what happens is electrons fly off of this silicon dioxide and it hits the air and it creates these superoxides. That's the fountain of these cleansers. That's the microperoxides, the hydroxyl superoxides, hydroxides. And what it's doing is it goes hundreds of feet per minute. You know, just like if you burn popcorn in your kitchen, you smell that back in your master bedroom. How did it get there? Because it's a gas. It's distributed throughout the whole environment, but all we're doing is putting outdoor air indoors. Pretty simple technology, right? Well, it's interesting. Before we had all the research, you know, all the biosafety level 3, level 4 lab studies and all the FDA certified laboratory studies against all the pathogens, people would say, well, how do I know this is actually working? Well, what we used to do is we take a swab, kind of like a big long cotton swab. We'd swab the air, we'd swab the surface, you know, in a certain area. Say it was in a school, for example. We'd put it in a little petri dish. We'd touch it to the petri dish, and I'll show you that here in a minute. We'd seal it up, and then we'd put a unit in for about 8 hours. Just let it run. Nobody could go in, no one could touch anything. Then we'd come back after 8 hours, cut the unit off, do exactly the same thing. We'd swab the air, swab exactly the same surfaces. We'd put it in the petri dish, and then we'd seal the petri dish and let them culture for about 3 days. Well, after 3 days, this is what would happen. We'd show the customer or the client this. So this is what it looked like before, and this is what it looked like after. So remember how I said you either have one of these technologies or your lungs are the air purifier. So this is why this is so important. So when you showed this to a client in a school, you were saying, hey, your kids are breathing this, or they could be breathing this. Which one do you want? And of course, when you're looking at about 2 to 3 cents for a child, to be able, every time they go into a classroom, to have this safety of knowing they have a great environment, or every time someone enters your restaurant, or every time somebody walks into your house, you've got the benefit of this. Why would you not want to have that when it's so low cost per person to be able to provide this standard? Just like the earthquake, we don't want to drive across a bridge that hasn't been modified or upgraded to a new standard when it collapsed before. We don't want to be able to ever get stuck again like we were stuck with COVID going through this past few months here. So one thing that you may not realize is that the SARS-CoV-2 virus is a very wimpy virus, really easy to destroy. In fact, we knew many months before we were able to make the claim and go through those biosafety lab studies. We were able to say, look, we knew beyond a shadow of a doubt we could destroy it very quickly. Why? Because we've destroyed avian bird flu, swine flu, because it's a wimpy virus. Now, the reason why we know that is because the most difficult viruses at the top of the pyramid, we absolutely destroy as well. Let's take a look at that here in just a minute, but I do want you to understand that this technology isn't just for something like SARS-CoV-2, but it's for the much more difficult things to destroy. So let's take a look at what the biosafety level 3, level 4 labs showed here. This is, of course, SARS-CoV-2, 3-minute destruction rate in the air on surfaces. We're talking 3, 6, 7 hours. After 7 hours, you're in steady state. That means everything's been destroyed when it comes to SARS-CoV-2 on surfaces. That's countertops, carpets, doorknobs, everything. And then any person who happens to come in that environment, anything that happens to show up in the air, 3 minutes, it's destroyed. But what about the nasty stuff we were looking at the top of the pyramid? This is the most difficult things here. Bacteriophage, this was at the top of the pyramid there, 30-minute destruction rate. The X174 bacteriophage, this is a surrogate. Oftentimes we think about something like HIV. This is a surrogate for that, 30 minutes destroyed there. Think about staph infections. Again, 30 minutes there. The Cervina herbicola, again, 30 minutes. This is really nasty stuff. The Aspergillus niger, this is the black mold many of us are familiar with. Again, 30 minutes, we're able to destroy that. Bacillus globigii, once again, this is the most difficult, heat resistant, disinfectant resistant. It's something that is often looked at being weaponized by people that want to do some type of bioterrorism, if you will. Like if you're going to use anthrax, this is what our military looks. Can we destroy this? Because this is the nasty one. And again, 30 minutes, log 3 kill rate. So again, It's not just the little things like SARS-CoV-2, but it's dealing with the big nasty viruses that are much more difficult and the big nasty pathogens as well. So now you and I are not probably daily thinking about bioterrorism. We're thinking about our own home. And you look in your home, you can see before and after for airborne bacteria and fungus and surface bacteria and fungus. The before is the red and the blue is the after. You can see very quickly we're able to take it from very high levels to low levels. Now remember, the technology runs 24/7. You don't have to again, turn it off. You just let it run. It does its thing. Something I didn't mention to you is it also removes particulate from the air. Imagine you've seen a little column of light come through your window and you've seen the little sparkly things there. What you're looking at is dead skin. Sometimes if you're in a place that has pets, it might even be pet dander. But on dead skin and dander, you have dust mites. Dust mites eat that, then they end up pooping or defecating, and then you end up bacteria and mold growing on that. And what happens is that stuff just stays floating around. Well, what this technology does is it sends an energy wave out about 20 meters or about, say, 40 meters, across, or about 100. What would that be? That'd be about 120 feet. And what happens is when it hits these particles, it puts a negative or positive charge on it. They stick together and they settle out. So what you're able to do is you're able to remove a lot of this particle from the air, and there's a little column of light, all of a sudden there's nothing in there anymore. Well, where did it go? It settles down to the floor. So once you vacuum that up, we perceive about 97, 98% of that's out of your breathing space. Remember, you either have one of these technologies or you are the air purifier. How about in commercial? This happens to be a hotel, same thing, remote desk, carpet, HVAC, light switch door handle. You can see the same kind of thing before, after. Something I do want to call your attention to, the light switch, which is constantly being contaminated, again, by people coming in and out, in and out, in and out, including your housekeeping. Well, you can see, even so, we're looking at a 6-to-1 reduction there. So again, this is something that you can be absolute peace of mind that you're providing the very best environment for your clients, your customers, or your employees. We mentioned a little bit about Major League Baseball. This is important just because you think about these guys, each team has their own medical staff, medical officers whose responsibility is to keep these multi-million-dollar athletes healthy. They can afford to get any technology they want on the planet, and yet they choose ours. Why? Because if you get any of your players with a bacterial or fungal infection or MRSA, they can be out for several games, perhaps even the whole season, which costs the club literally hundreds of thousands, in some cases millions of dollars. And you can't see all the testimonial letters here from Major League Baseball teams, but it's a very, very significant number. So who uses the technology? Pretty much everybody who's looking for a smart solution. Homeowners, pet lovers, asthma, allergy sufferers, people that take care of kids, people that are health advocates that just want to have the very best, and then educators, another big area, especially with so many kids now looking at returning to school. But even before COVID, Dr. Doris Rapp in her book said, hey, if you want to take a kid and have them perform at their optimal academic performance, take them out of the school, put them outdoors, because they will actually be able to not be impacted by chemical sensitivities from molds, from mildews, from strippers, from different cleansers, and things that tend to affect kids' performance and cognitive function. She demonstrated that. And of course, what she was saying is, hey, let's take the outdoor air and let's put the kid in that. Well, now, today, we can bring the outdoor air in using this technology. So how much does something like this cost? It'd be a great question to ask, with all the things that it does, from taking care of the air and surface contaminants, freshening the air, making everything smell like a rainforest, getting rid of all that dead skin and dander from the air, that little column of light we were talking about, making sure that we have that thunderstorm fresh air. It's perfectly safe for pets, for yourself, for your employees, your kids, wherever you work, you live, you play, providing a complete ozone-free environment and surface cleaning, covering up to 3,000 square feet. Remember, this is about the size of 2 shoe boxes. Little to no maintenance. You just take your vacuum with a little brush attachment, you just brush off the top, brush off the back, maybe do that once a month, every 6 months, open it up, look at it. I mean, really, that's it. And the other nice thing is it has an incredible service life. The average service life of this technology is about 10 years. We'll say 5 years to be just conservative. But again, when it does all this, no filters to buy or replace, runs for up to 3,000 square feet there, protects your environment. Again, how much? Well, people think, well, gosh, obviously with that, it's going to be at least what, 2,000, 2,500, 3,000. Well, it's not 3,000, it's not 2,500, it's not even 2,000. This unit that you're looking at will protect all of that environment up to 3,000 square feet, again, for 10 years for under $1,500. This is the retail price point at $14.99 there. And we have been helping people out and businesses out by discounting a bit during the COVID, so we can help people recognize some of the burden they're going through. But even if we said the $14.99 price point, and what we did is we went ahead and we kind of looked at, taking just even the 5-year, not the 10-year service life, but 5 years. Well, that would break down to about 41 cents a day for total peace of mind. So if you've got an office with 10 people, that's 4 cents an employee per day. If you've got it in a family's home and there's 4 members in the family, that again is 10 cents a family member per day. Again, with something so low cost, when you look at the marginal cost being so low, is there any reason you wouldn't want to protect your family with this new standard? With this new standard of protection, why would you not want to have something like this? Why would you not want to have this for your employees or your customers? And there's really, when you think about, doing something, sure, if you're going to build a bridge, say like after an earthquake, it's going to cost more money possibly to rebuild it and re-engineer it in a new way. Yeah, and this might cost a little bit more money, but on a daily basis, can we afford not to do that? So I really think there's 3 reasons why somebody wouldn't, get this unit and want to take advantage and be a part of the new movement to set a new standard of protection. Either A, they don't believe that there's pathogens and bugs and other things out there, and even though they might have been caught off guard, they say, oh, well, that won't happen again, or that can't happen again, or I don't believe all that other stuff is really that bad. Or maybe they don't, believe all the science and technology of these biosafety labs and the Cleveland Clinic and all this stuff. So again, it's either that, or they maybe say, gosh, well, my family's, I love them, but they're not worth 10 cents a person, or my customers aren't worth 3 cents or whatever, and I know that's not the case. And maybe somebody says, well, gosh, I get it, I understand it, and I accept that, but I just don't know if I can swing it right now. Well, if you can't swing it, whatever the price is, let's figure that out. Let's come up with a way. Sometimes we can work through things, same as cash, 6 months, same as cash, and come up with other ways to help people have this technology. The bottom line is, you just can't be caught again like this. This should never, ever happen again. We shouldn't just go back to the way we always were, because what happened is for a reason. And there's an opportunity here now to make sure that those people that weren't protected get protected. And of course, those of us who knew about this technology that were protected, can continue to evangelize and share that with people in a powerful way. Let's talk about next steps. Let's get back with that person, tell them that you're excited about what you've seen. Let them get you set up with a risk-free evaluation. The only promise we ask you is that if you don't love this thing, send it back. We don't want you to have something if you don't like it. And again, I don't want you to just like it, but if you don't love it, send it back, because we want you to be absolutely convinced. And then guess what? If you want a little discount, let them know. Say, look, I'm maybe having some challenges right now, or I want to get one for my home and my office. Oh, and I also want to get one maybe for something else, maybe that a friend, or maybe it's an aging parent that somebody at risk that needs one, and you want to just buy it for them. Just let them know, and they're going to hook you up and make sure that you're taken care of. The key thing right now, more than anything, is that you become part of the new standard. So folks, with that, thank you so much for letting me share with you. This is John Bender again. I'm going to sign off, but wish you the best. Can't wait to get a chance to hear the results and how much you've enjoyed being able to have this technology, not just because it's the right thing to do, but because of how awesome it makes you feel. Take care, everyone. We'll talk soon.